beautiful one. So joyous to see everyone's faces. We're just waiting a few more seconds for all of us to settle here comfortably in the circle.
Greetings also from my side.
Mm-hmm.
So beautiful to see all of your faces, and for the ones who don't have their cameras on, well, to imagine your faces behind the screen. Welcome.
So, yeah, we are welcoming you here wholeheartedly to our workshop. It is with a meaningful delight that we are going to spend these precious moments together with you in these particular times. Yeah, welcome to Seeds for the Revolution. Revolution, soul-rooted mentoring for an eco-centric culture. Just stay a little bit with the title. The title deserves our whole life, isn't it? I mean, come on. Seeds for the Revolution, evolution, revolution, soul-rooted mentoring for an eco-centric culture. Absolutely, this title deserves our whole life. And we will do our best to dive deep even in this elixirs of 2 hours and a half and 2 hours and a half. The second part of the workshop is going to be on Friday, and you are welcome then as well. Yeah. This workshop is part of a wider project that is entitled From Caterpillar to Butterfly, where together with Eleni and with other wonderful colleagues of ours, we tend the transformation of caterpillars into pollinators, into wonderful butterflies for this exact purpose, for an eco-centric culture that the world and we are needing. I am Sandra Horia, and I am one of the creators of this project and one of the two speakers or presenters or guides that will be in your company today. And I don't want to forget mentioning that we are quite grateful to say that this project, From Caterpillar to Butterfly, is founded by the Erasmus Plus program of the European Union. Yeah, we are creating wonderful, wonderful dreams and gifts for the world through their support.
Well, let me also welcome you all, dear ones, the ones who are here today, the ones who will watch the recording. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I was listening to Sandra saying the title again, Seeds for the Future, and this image of you, of us all being the seeds of the future came to me. So what if we open ourselves to this possibility that we hold the seeds of the future? We are the seeds of the future. And the way we tend the seeds and the way we cultivate the seeds makes or unmakes future. So yeah, we're here because we believe. I think that's what brings us here, the faith. Sometimes we speak with Sangha that it's such a strong faith that is almost getting close to being crazy, that things can change, that the revolution is a possibility. With these ideas, with these possibilities, I welcome you too. And yes, my name is Eleni Mikhail. I'm from Cyprus. I'm deeply honored to be with you today and to serve the future. Yes. Let this time be meaningful.
It was words that we welcomed you with. And now we want to welcome you with sound. Hopefully, the sound of this wonderful drum will reach you in a way or another. Probably not the way that is reaching my ears, but open your imagination even when hearing. Even when hearing. So we want to cross a threshold, because thresholds are important. They are saying where we are. And we want to cross the threshold from the middle world, which is, unfolded in this miraculous springtime for most of us. We want to cross it here in a cauldron of believers and dreamers and transformation seekers for the revolution of the future. And so the consciousness is important, and we want to, kind of sprinkle the seeds of a depth consciousness, the consciousness that is rooting us in the wisdom of earth. So just for a little while, I will be drumming, and you, dear one, find your way to arrive, to really arrive, to be here, heart and body and eyes and mouth and ears and bones and ancestors to listen through you as well. What are we doing here matters. Actually, matters everything that we are doing. But we are now here in this present precious moment. And let's be here. And so, with our hearts, desires, longing, griefs, we have crossed collectively into the realm of seed creation, seed tending, seed planting.
Now, just now, we're in this realm. We need to feed and stir the seeds with a poem. So open up yourselves to this kind of art that speaks the language that goes beyond the mind, touches soul. It's 3:23 in the morning. It's 3:23 in the morning, and I'm awake. I'm awake because my great-great-grandchildren won't let me sleep. My great-great-grandchildren ask me in dreams, what did you do while the planet was plundered? What did you do while the planet was plundered? What did you do when the earth was unraveling? Surely you did something when the seasons started failing? As the mammals, reptiles, birds were all dying? Did you fill the streets with protest when democracy was stolen? What did you do? What did you do once you knew?
It's 3:23 in the morning, and I'm awake, and we are awake. You are awake. Because our great great grandchildren won't let us sleep, won't let you sleep. Your great great grandchildren asks us in dreams, what did we do while the planet was plundered? What did we do when the earth was unraveling? Surely we did something when seasons started failing as the mammals, reptiles, birds were all dying. Did you fill the streets with protests when democracy was stolen? What did we do once we knew? What did you do once you knew? What are we doing now that we're knowing? What shall we do? And so this is a excerpt from Hieroglyphic Stairway by Drew Dillinger. And I hope it breaks your heart, this poem. I really hope it reaches your heart, because that's the place of action, of what shall we do from the brokenness of our hearts. So perhaps we can consider that this workshop is a workshop about how to break, how to open, how to make our heart even more vulnerable to what is happening in the world. And maybe perhaps that's the place for the revolution, evolution to happen or to continue, because maybe perhaps it's already has already started. We are living troubling times, and I know we all know it, but I want to say it over and over again because I don't want to forget. I want to wake up at 3:23 in the morning. We are living chaotic, troubling times, culturally, as humans, and as a planet. And we notice the lostness, the loss of purpose, the forgetness. We forget the toxicity, the injustice. We do notice there there's nowhere to hide. Where should you go to hide? Even in the wildest places, you notice, well, with the bones of your ancestors, you notice that the birds are not so many anymore. You notice if you look at the sea, you know that the whales are way less than 100 years ago. You notice. You notice in the way we don't look at each other anymore when walking on the streets. You notice the brokenness, the wounding of the world, the breaking of the web of life. And these dear ones, we should feel it with our hearts. That's the organ of perception that can love and can transform and bring beauty and that which is maybe only imagined right now. We were saying in our description that in an eco-centric culture, humans were carriers of soul. They knew their powers, their capacities, their beauty, and they were inhabiting the world with these energies, with these capacities, with these gifts. And so we are in a time in our life on earth that we need to remember. We need to remember it's just a little while ago in the past that we forgot. Our ancestors knew and they lived according to the cycles of life and death and moon and sun and autumn, spring and summer and winter. They knew, and we need to remember. And this is the revolution. It's a revolution of remembering how to deeply care for each other and how to enhance life, protect life, cherish life, all life, not only human life, all life. So let's be with our vulnerable hearts opened because we are co creators of this world. If you think you're not, oh, what a foolish you are. If you think that your place on earth that doesn't matter, no, it matters. And probably this is why you're here in this particular circle of ours. We are co creators of this world, we humans, and together with the more than human community, we are creating the world every single second. You being here is a form of creating the world. Yes, thank you for being here.
You being here is a way of creating the world indeed. and it is said that it happens in this way, that by revolutionizing oneself, then the ones around, beings of human and beings of other kind, feel the trepidatious of that revolution of that single being, meaning you, and then they react and they transform, and this is how things spread. Sometimes it's not a huge, loud, catapulting one. Sometimes it's a slow, steady, uh, tiny bit, little by little, step by step revolution. And that one, it sometimes, and I'm saying this from my heart, it's not even it's not even noticeable by the system, and therefore the system changes. You see what I mean? That the system can change little by little without making anything loud, but making a little by little steady revolution. Yeah. And as much as we look at the brokenness of the world, and we feel the urgency, we're here because we are also longing. We're longing to find ourselves in community and communion with the wilderness around and with the wilderness within. Wilderness within meaning our wildness and our soul and our potential and resources. So yeah, these are our allies today and forever. The pain, the urgency, the longing, the desire, the questioning. Can I, or better said, how can I nurture the future? Yeah. Yeah. And know that the same way you're longing, all the other worlds and all the other beings are longing for the same thing. And that's what makes me have more faith that it's not just in us, it's everybody who is longing. Everybody, every human is longing for an eco-centric culture. Every bee and every leaf and every stone is longing to be in an eco-centric culture. So in a way, we're all connected with the longing for the future. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, hopefully you're feeling these words in your heart. And we were speaking that our aim is to break the heart so that it can forever be open. This is what Mary Oliver says in one of her poems. So we are continuing breaking our hearts, because our hearts are also being broken by this workshop and by this time together, so that the longing can be louder, so that the longing can have a feeling in the body, an image in our creative minds, a sense, a deep-rooted thought merging from the heart of the world. And so, in the next moments, we are going to share with you some images, some snippets of stories from all around the world. Stories from indigenous culture, nature-based cultures. Um, we want to create this mm, tangling of stories. And if you know how to listen to a story affects you, a story transforms you, takes you in places, takes you into other people's heart, takes you down deep, and also rises you high in the sky. So listen with all that is available to you and imagine and be there, be here in the story, because there are many and they're short. Yeah, it's like elements of some of the elements of, eco soul centric cultures. Hmm. So here we go. The first snippet of a story. Um, I believe this is happening in Australia, in the Aboriginal culture, where there is a woman who is about to become a mother and becoming a mother by giving birth to her very first child. And she's entering the labors of giving birth, and she knows she needs help, she needs support. So she calls the midwife to support her in the labor, because everything that is being birthed requires a certain kind of labor. And after a moment, a time is coming and the child is being birthed, is being born, the crowning moment when the child breaks from the inner world out into the outer world. And in that moment, the midwife notices the child was a boy coming into this world with some physical malformations, what we would call in this culture maybe disabilities. Hmm. Well, let's call it disability, was one of the gifts of this boy. And indeed, it was seen as a gift. Not longer after the birth, the whole village came to celebrate the birth of this boy, and they were bringing gifts. They brought songs and prayers and dances of celebration, acknowledging, acknowledging this one's presence in the community. And so it was that every time, once in a blue moon, a special child such as this one was born, the family birthing them received a special treatment from the whole community. The mother and the father of this boy were from now on kind of set free from their seasonal communal duties, such as working the land or hunting or fishing or cooking or sewing, because they needed to listen. They needed to listen to this particular special child that they were birthed in the world. They needed to listen, so they needed time to tend this one, time to take care of this one, and to integrate, to listen to this one's wisdom. And in doing so, having time to gift back the community the wisdom of this special child with, let's call these abilities. Let's just for a second imagine how would that be in our culture. And we're inviting you after each and every snippet of the story to imagine this. A special child who is actually special. That the word special actually is properly used. Wow, you came in this shape and form. Teach me your wisdom.
Does your heart break open? Mm, mm, mm. So let's break more open. Staying, let me start differently. Do you have night dreams? Mm, mhm. What do you do with your night dreams? Question mark, no need to answer now, but stay with this question. It's very near that place where a woman gave birth to a child with special powers, that just very near in the same continent with the same original people of Australia. Dreams had a very, very important role to play. According to them, the whole world, imagine that, was created when their ancestors were in dream time. So their ancestors were dreaming, and the result of the dream was the world, as the original people of Australia know it. And with that importance of the dreams, they cared about the night dreams because they believed that every dream is an ancestor trying to communicate with a person in this world right here. So they imagine that there is a dream in the life, in the night of one person. This person wakes up, and there is special time in the day to tell their community the dream. And the next day evening, the community comes together in a ceremony. And the ceremony is enacting the dream that this person had, with musical instruments, with didgeridoo, with sticks keeping the sound, the rhythm, with paints on the body and different fabrics around their skin. They're enacting the dream. And the one who had the dream is not there enacting. This one is standing on the side, witnessing what is the message that the ancestors have given through the dream to this person and this community. And the dream keeps playing, the enactment, the theater keeps playing until the one who had the dream and witnessed it feels satisfied. And later on, the juice of that dream, the extraction, goes into the community through the interpretation, through the further questioning the dream offered to the one who had it. And here then, that is the second story we're having here. And maybe stay again a couple of seconds with this possibility of approaching dreams in this way.
What a beauty. Mysterious, knowledgeable dreams. I hope your heart is wide enough to contain all these stories, because here's another one, and we are not nearly finished. And now we travel in a different part of the globe, in a different part of this world, namely in West Africa, in Burkina Faso. And we are walking on the dusty roads of the village. And as we are walking, we are encountering a young woman. Maybe she's 17 years old, something like that. And we are noticing, because we are approaching her, we are noticing that this one has an obvious, extensive burn scar across her face. It's quite obvious. It's visible. But this doesn't seem to make her self-conscious or ashamed in any way. Quite the contrary. She seems exuberant and full of life. So we go into one of the huts because we are curious. We are curious, like, how is this possible? So we are entering one of the huts and we ask, what happened to the girl? We ask one elder person there. So an elder is approaching us and is explaining to us that years ago, the mother of the girl threw boiling water on the girl in a fit of rage. And after that moment, the elder continues telling us that the whole village responded immediately after this happening. The whole village gathered while the girl was still with the pain of the boiling water reaching her face. The whole village circled the girl and assured her that what happened was not her fault. The whole village stayed, I don't even know for how long, 2 days, 2 weeks. They stayed and circled her and held her, letting her know that her mother was wrong for doing this and that she was loved. The girl was loved and cherished by the village, by her people. In other words, the village people assured the young girl that what occurred to her remained superficial. What occurred to her was superficial. It did not penetrate beyond the skin. She carried a scar, yes, but her soul was intact. Her village could see her value, could help her remember her essence. And so there was no reason for shame and self-guilt or blame. This is true. This was true. Imagine that. Imagine the freedom. Imagine the time that this girl is spending spreading her joy and exuberance and the miracle that she is. Yeah, take that in.
Hmm. Let us travel again now across the ocean, moving towards America to meet the indigenous people there. Seems like in their ecosystem, something is changing. Something, a trouble, a crisis is happening. Things are not in the order they should be, and things do not have the flow they used to have. It seems that there is a need for an urgent action. there is a need for an urgent action. So what do these ones do? If we could just sneak into their valley and look, we would see them. The ones especially who are in charge of taking decisions, we would see them lighting a fire and sitting around at dusk and watching, gazing at the fire all night long and all day long until next dusk approaches. What are they doing? We might wonder, what are they doing? There is an urgency to do something quickly. Shh, they would say. We are reflecting. We are stopping and we're waiting for all the turmoil within to settle so that the decision to be taken is clear, is coming from the roots, not from the urgency to do something. It comes from a mature and wise place. And it is in an agreement with the spirits above and the spirits around, the spirits of the beings around. And then we can take an action. Now feel into this story now, this way of living, and this way of acting and non-acting.
And there is more. There is more. Perhaps maybe 2 more stories, something like that. And this piece of story is coming from indigenous Mayan culture of Guatemala. So, yeah, once again, open your imagination and let's be with them. There, again in a village, where the elders of the village did not allow the young people to touch one another romantically, sexually, until after they were initiated. The elders were looking, the elders were knowing, the elders are deep seers. So when the first signs of readiness were seen by the elders, young men and young women were separated from each other and the village for a year, and sent into the wilderness. They were ready for that. They were ready enough to survive the beauties and the terrors of the wilderness, to be in the unknown, far from that which was familiar. And in such a way, for a year, sitting and being with themselves in the wildness, holding deep questions, holding what we are holding also in our hearts sometimes, hopefully most of our times, expressing their longings, their griefs, their loves. They were learning slowly, slowly to court the divine, to pour that love, that desire, that curiosity into the divine which they could love but never possess. And in doing so, learning and becoming capable of loving another human in a healthy, respectful, and um, dignifying way. Hmm. Courting the world, loving the world was primary, was first, and then with that knowledge came the knowledge of loving another human and creating a family. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's another story of ours.
Yes, and there is more. There is more, and well, I guess that most of us live in Europe. So let there be a story also from Europe, from our most recent ancestors. We know, we all have the same ancestors, but the most direct ones for the ones who have roots here. Mm, mm. That is, it's taking place, I would say, in an eco-centric culture that is not that far long in the past. It just takes place in a village, maybe some 100 years ago. It takes place in a village. And in the village, there is a woman and a man, and they're a couple, and they have 3 children. And the woman is tending the children on that Saturday morning when she receives the news that her husband, who is out in the land working the fields, had an accident. And in the accident, he died. Imagine that. Heartbreaking news. And of course, there is funeral and everybody gathers to do the funeral and to tend to the ceremony. But you know what happens then? That's the question. What happens then when the woman is left with the 3 children and the immense grief? What happens then after the ceremony, after the burial? What happens to the pain? Who is going to tend this one? Well, the village is tending the pain. The village is tending the grief. The village is tending the mother and the 3 children. In what ways? In simplicity. In simplicity, by bringing food for lunch and dinner every day for 40 days in a row. A different neighbor, a different family member brings to the house a soup, a stew, a bread, and they sit together. They sit together because this family now does not have enough of capability to sustain both the death and the life. So the community needs to sustain the death and the life. The community, but by bringing food, sustains the bodies of the mother and the 3 children and holds their pain, shares their grief, listens to their stories, invites their tears, invites their grief to be expressed. Perhaps they sing together lamenting songs. Perhaps they share nightmares they had. And little by little, the bonds of the community just get stronger, right? So then, after the 40 days and the threshold is crossed, say, rumors say there is a threshold at the 40 days, then this becomes a habit to sit together, becomes a tradition, becomes a ritual to sit together, to eat together, and share the grief together and the sprouting joys in between. Yeah, this is another story. How would that be if we had this now? when grief has a very particular emotion that fits or not fit the contemporary life. Yeah.
Perhaps if you have forgotten to bring with you the bowl of water and the flower, maybe now it's a moment for you to go and grab those elements and a candle. A bowl with water, a flower if you have, and a candle and some matches. And yeah, we would love to hear how the stories touched each and every one of you. Probably we will not do that by asking you one by one how was that, but we have our own understanding of how those stories are touching us, so we can maybe feel that we we expect, we come into this world maybe perhaps with an expectation, what our deep time ancestors experienced as their birthright, namely the container of the village, the wisdom of the village, the presence of elders, the presence of mentors, the birth into a life enhancing society and culture. We are born respecting rich, sensuous, nurturing relationship with earth and a strong, powerful connection to the sacred. Birthright. Perhaps it is actually indeed our birthright to have this kind of container and space and values and mindsets. So, we are inviting you now to look deep inside your life, to look within at your life in the culture that you were born, in the times that you were born, in the times that you are living and loving and longing and are at, at this moment. And we're inviting you perhaps not with blame. Blame does not sparkle action, as far as I know from my experience. But maybe to look perhaps with compassion, perhaps with sadness, perhaps with longing, perhaps with grief. Yes, with grief to the culture, to your surroundings, to where you are. Perhaps there are many things you are celebrating about where you are in your life. But now in particular we are inviting you to look with those eyes and heart that can grasp grief, the absence of, the lack of, the lostness of. What is that you are almost on the edge of crying for yourself, for other humans, or and for the more than human? Is there a particular aspect of life, yours and the life around you, that you are on the edge of crying and not really knowing why you're crying, but you're just crying? It's not, the grief is not coming in a crystal clear mathematical sentences to tell you, oh, this is what you're grieving and this is why and this is how you solve it. Grief is inviting us to feel this without really knowing. Grief is the journey of processing that which we are now on the edge of tearing. Open your heart and allow that to come. Many of us are running away from being vulnerable in such ways, and for good reasons. It's painful, but more painful is not to be in this place. So grasp you with your tender hearts, tender eyes in your vision, grasp that thing, process, animated, experience happening that you are grieving about, that you are holding dearly with sadness, with heaviness. Is that in your heart right now? Is that particular aspect of the life right now in your heart? And maybe you can nod or, I don't know, make a little gesture for us to know if we need a little bit more time or not. Are you holding a loss, a devastation, even a way that people are with each other or with the nature that they shouldn't be in that way? A toxic flavor, an unhealthy, dangerous way of living, of being, a grief, a grief. Hopefully that is in your heartbeat right now.
With this grief in your heart, we welcome you, we ask you, we invite you into a ceremony. We invite you into a ceremony, although we are far in the geographical distance, but we are very close in the emotional distance, all of us. And we have invited you to bring with you a candle and matches to light the fire, and a bowl of water and a flower. So just before entering the ceremony, check if they are nearby. And if they're not, do not worry. Use your imagination to have the candle and the fire and the flower and so on. But if they're near you, just have them even closer. We are going to meet them very soon. Primarily, what we are going to meet is that pain, is that ache, that grief that nestles in your heart now. That's the key ingredient. And perhaps if you want to make any necessary changes, if so, I mean, maybe it's just a teeny tiny shift in the way you sit or stand or gaze, so that, something is changing as we are entering the ceremony. Mm. Mm-hmm. Well, with this being said, let's take a few deep breaths, breathing in, breathing out, feeling the aching grief more into our body, giving it space, making more room, saying perhaps a welcome. Well, you're welcome here. You're needed here. You're honored here. You're the center of our attention. Breathe in, breathe out. Dear grief, you are the center of the attention here. We hold you. And at your own pace, find your way of lighting the candle gradually, slowly, or swiftly. Invite here the element of fire, the ancient one, the wise one, the ultimate transformer, the one who knows how to take one and make it into another. And with the fire on, dear ones, dear aching ones. Welcome, welcome into the temple. Welcome into the temple and into the ceremony of grief. The one you hold in your chest now is very, very welcome here and necessary. And this ceremony is dedicated to this one that you're grieving about. This one, human or more than human, that you're tearing and having tears and open hearts about. So yeah, as you're here, drop more into the grief. Make even more room for this one. Perhaps imagine its shape, its color, the way it moves your body, in your body, moves your body, how it shape shifts it, liquefies it, transforms it. What element does it hold? What's the flavor of this one? Is there a gesture, a movement, a certain kind of kinesthetic intelligence that will allow more space for this one here? Perhaps what we're saying is odd, as you maybe have never entered such a ceremony, or maybe you have never ever entered such a ceremony online. Well, welcome this one too. Welcome this one too. There is also space for that one. And as we welcome the voice of doubt, let us open more to grief. Feel the years, the decades, perhaps the hundreds of centuries that go beyond this moment of this grief. The birthing moment of this grief. How long does it go? How far does it stretch? Mm. Mm. And let your body move. Let your emotions move. Grief is not just one emotion. Grief maybe is more than one. Let it stir and burn your chest. Let it out. Maybe through a tear. Maybe through a sigh. Maybe through a humming. Mm.
Your capacity to feel and to tend and to hold this one is infinite. Feeling, feeling, feeling is transformation itself. What if you dare, right here and right now, to open your mouth and actually hum, actually make a noise from your wild creature, a noise, a movement together with a noise, perhaps, to honor, to speak in an ancient way, in non-human words, to speak this grief, to speak this pain, to speak this injustice and ache. It can be soft, it can be powerful. We do not hear you. We don't have to hear you. But in a way, we do hear you. In a way, we are together here in this cauldron. Yeah, we are just letting you for a few moments to be with your vibration, vibrating the grief out into the world so the world is hearing it, is hearing your cry, your desperation, your call. Maybe there is a lament line. Maybe there are human words. Maybe there is one word or two or three, a line of poetry dedicated to this particular grief that you're holding, that you're dedicated, that you're devoted to, that matters to you. This matters to you. And what matters to you unfolds the world. What is a line? Maybe perhaps like a prayer line. And keep doing what you know how to do from your bones. Hum, speak poetry, speak prayer for this one and holy grief you're holding in your chest, for yourself, for your world. And slowly, softly, in your own rhythm, take the flower. Take the flower that is next to you. Take the beauty. Take the innocence. Caress it in your hands. Spend the time, a moment with it. And then place it somewhere symbolically. Place it somewhere next to the candle, far from the candle. You know it better. Place it in the name of this grief. Grief, as if grief is receiving a companion, as if grief is even more thoroughly heard, held, blessed, respected. Find a way. Maybe you're creating your little altar here next to the candle. And now the water, dear ones, the water that purifies, that fertilizes, the water that is source of life. Bring it closer to you, the bowl of water, and if you don't have the bowl of water, your imagination is wide enough to have the bowl of water. Fluidity, birth, regeneration. Put your fingers, put your hands in the water and bless yourself with those holy waters. feel the texture of the blessing that you are allowing yourself to hold in your heart, the grief, the pain, and in your own way, praying for a change, praying for the revolution. Bless yourself, bless the earth that's holding all this pain and devastation. Bless the other humans, bless the others in the circle. We don't know about their griefs, but we bless them because they are important for them. Maybe they're similar to ours, who knows? Bless the holy grief, the holy longing that grief holds. Mm.
Mm. Mm. And look into the heart of the grave. That is the longing. And open more into that longing. What is the longing for? What are you longing for? What are you dying to experience, to live, to have, to be? What is that immense desire embedded in the grief? Holy is the grief and holy is the longing. And I like to imagine a longing as a courting, as a way of calling, just like the birds call each other when they need to come together to create new life. So with this energy, that the longing holds, we are inviting you to cross the threshold of your mouth, to open your lips and make a calling song that speaks your longing, actually that sings your longing in a tune that was never ever before perhaps dared to be sung by your lips, by your hearts. A calling song. And I'm silencing my voice so that your song is heard, not here in the microphone setting, but it's heard by the other one, the more than human one that holds you, the earth itself. There's still a bit of time, so go more. Here's this longing to hear your longing. Now in your imagination, imagine that we're all singing together, that our calling songs are merging And there is a symphony, loud and clear, and strong and vivid, like a mountain river bursting into life. And our songs become an earth song. Let this symphony of longings calling songs be an earth song. Mm. Mm. And while you're focusing on singing, perhaps focus also on receiving this collective song. You're also earth, and you can also hear. Mm. Mm. And find your own way of tending this. We are gradually coming back, centering, just acknowledging, witnessing what has just happened. A little bit like the story with the dreams. Now we're savoring, witnessing what has just happened. And take a few breaths, few deep breaths. Root yourself in your body, the one that holds everything, including grief and longing, and a heart open widely, a heart which is pumping blood, which was given to us through our ancestors. But ancestors are the ones that they stirred our grief, and yet they are the ones who have given us the ways. We are the descendant of these ones. We're not disconnected from those ones. We have the same blood. We share the same genes. We share the same heart. To live in an eco-centric culture, it's not far, it's in our blood. It is in our blood.
Well, come back, but not too much. Hopefully, a part of you will always stay there, will always be here in the calling of the longing birth through grief felt through your body, through your seeing, through your noticing, through your love for yourself and others. Oh, so entangled world. Love bringing us to grief, grief bringing us to longing, longing calling, bringing us to the calling, to the action. Everything is interconnected. Isn't this amazing? just like outside. How can a tree live without wind? They did an experiment, you know? They created this huge greenhouse protected for the most extraordinary species of trees to be so safe and so protected in order to grow. And guess what? After some years, one by one, the trees were dying, were falling because they did not have the wind, the aversion, the difficulty, the grief, we can say. We are dying without grief. We are dying without wind. We need resistance. We need to resist something. Resistance is born out of belonging, perhaps. So, in your own way, bring that in and never, never leave this place. But pay attention to everything else that is unfolding and happening in the world, as well as our next offering. Our next offering that, oh gosh, it needs your body. It really needs your body. Oh, did I say body? Oh, it needs your imagination also. Oh, yes, body and imagination. Nothing, they say, was birthed without imagination, without vision, without seeing. Did I say body? Did I say imagination? Oh, did I say senses? Of course, they belong to the body. Senses perhaps also belong to the imagination. We want them in as well for this next offering. And let's see. Oh, yeah, we need thoughts. We need thoughts because we are humans and thoughts are precious. Heart-rooted thoughts, we need them also. Bring them in your body, in your senses, in your imagination. We want all of you, delicious all of you. You will hear some music very soon. And the voices of both of us, I will start, Eleni will continue, then probably I will continue again. Who knows how this will unfold, but you will hear both of our voices, as well as you are going to be delightfully, hopefully, uh, tended and cared by the music. Because we are going to invite you in a place. We don't know the place. You know the place. You will hear it. You will see it through your imagination. You will feel it through your body. A place of love, a particular place of love. No more for me to say right now. And very soon there will be the sound finding its way to your being. If it's too loud, Eleni, just raise your hand if it's too loud and you don't hear me. You hear the music? Interesting. I don't. My music. I don't hear my music. How is that possible? Maybe this is how we are in the world. We don't really hear our own music. That's quite a metaphor. I do hear my music now. After a while, after a journey, we hear each other's musics and ourselves. Damn, that was good. Thank you, Zoom, for tricking me into this metaphor. Okay. Now you and I, we hear the same tune. We hear the same tune. Feel into your own body, dear one, loved one. If you want, you can even close your eyes for this offering so you can see and feel better the inside terrain of your existence. And play. And play with your breath. Stay with your breath. Feel your breath. Follows this keen and tireless motion of your breath. See if you can be its companion for a while here. You are taking in the world as you are breathing. The whole world you are inhaling in, eating the air, taking in the breath that we are sharing with the birds and trees and sea and bears and butterflies and gorillas and whales and crickets and rats and magnolias and daffodils. We all breathe the same air. You are breathing the world in. So let this air, let the world, let it affect you. Let it caress you on the inside. Let it enter you in all these caves and holes and valleys of your beings. Allow the world to go in. Allow the love of the world to go inside your existence. And offer it back. And offer it back. For how long you can stay with the world in, you have to offer it back. You are contributing with your own uniqueness to the particles of the common air. So exhale, dear one, knowing that you are sharing yourself with the world. Breathing the world in, offering your world back to the wider world. So intimate. So intimate. Just breathing is intimate. It's a way of feeling the love of the world onto us. And how many times we do this? 15, 20 times a minute? That's crazy. It's crazy how intimate we are every single second with the world. You are in constant intimacy, relationship with the world. And dear one, feel into the gravity now. Have you noticed the gravity? Have you noticed the gravity with your own body? How it holds you close to the earth, close to the world. Feel into the power, its erotic force. You cannot escape gravity. You cannot escape. Perhaps we can feel into the fact that the gravity is the love of the earth towards us. It's everywhere all the time. Even more presence than the breath, if I can say that even. Feel into this devotional love from the world to you. This is love, right here and right now. The world is loving you, holding you. Do you believe that? We cannot go really further if you don't really believe that. Do you believe that? Maybe the answer is, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. And that's a real, honest answer. As long as you're working, you are feeling something. Play a bit with the love of earth. Play, raise your arm, one of your arms, and feel how the earth wants it. Play with your, I don't know, shoulders, breasts. They are wanted. This is love. Why parents and grandparents didn't tell us this 100 times per day that the earth loves us? Maybe yours told you. Then you're lucky. You can rest on this world chest. You can be in their arms. And your lover, the world, is even wider than how the kiss of the gravity is holding you, how the food of breath is feeding you, is wider than this, dear ones. The love of the world, the lover as a world, the world as a lover, is wider than that. The whole world is alive. The whole world is animated and is loving you. Your lover is alive, has feelings for you, has stories about you. The world, the lover, looks after you, holds you in their gaze, in their loving gaze, as if your place here matters. Because it does. It does. What if you turn towards the smell of the flowers you have seen blossomings in the last weeks, months? What if that's a way of the world loving you through the smell? All these flowers saying out loud, screaming, I love you, we love you. Those are also some arms to fall into, as well as the bark tree, the tree trunks, the leaves that are spreading against the future sky. They love you too, they are screaming too. Do you hear them? The eagles flying by, the hawks, owls flying by, they love you too with their way they fly above. The way storms are coming, pouring down water, shaking the world, the earth, it's love too. It's love towards you. The world is poetry, as well as your lover. Yeah, this is the place of the revolution. From the curve of the cosmos to the spinning of the atoms, the world engages you in a dance of mutual allurement. The world, made out of boundless love, takes the form of the beloved. What a beauty! You and your beloved world, you are made from the same nectar and share the same food. Out of the supreme love, you swallow each other up. This is the lovemaking you are engaging in with the world.
Mm. 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 And have you ever have you ever been found by a place, and in that place you open your mouth And you said, oh, divine beauty. Oh, divine beauty, what artist make you? Perhaps it was a breathtaking waterfall. Perhaps it was the colors of the sunset. Perhaps it was the myriads of birds, the flocks of birds up in the sky, drawing different patterns. And didn't you say silently, I love you. I love you. I want to see more of you. Show more of your beauty. Mm. And did you at other times taken off your shoes and walked barefoot, kissing the earth step by step, offering your bare naked skin to this one, to the earth, to the wind, perhaps even the water. Naked skin in the water, cold water, warm water, icy water. You now entering, penetrating air, water, earth. Mm. And haven't you come across little ones of any kind, human and not more than human? And what kind of emotions birthed them? What kind of emotions blazed your heart, electrified your body? And what did you do back? What sweet songs came out of your mouth? What caresses did you offer? Perhaps even kisses. Don't say this to anyone. It's your intimate connection with the world. Mm. You have to admit, you have to be true. Same way the earth pulls you, the same way you pull earth, you poured her too. You not even thinking about bring your nose into the middle of the flowers, making love with that one, supporting its fertilization truly. Mm. Have you ever thought of that? That you are in love with the world? That you are in love with the leaves and the stones and the cliffs and the canyons and the plains and the deserts? You're even in love with people. Otherwise, it wouldn't hurt so much. If there is no love, there is no hurt. There is hurt and pain because you love. You goddamn love your kind and the other kinds. How is that? How does this feel? How does this make you or unmake you? Linger here. Don't escape. Don't go far. Linger longer here. In the way you pour your love. Perhaps even tears. Tears of longing to meet this one, this lover, more intimately if you're far from this one. Mm. Mm. Yes, holy, 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 holy.
What an ecstatic, extraordinary, magnificent relationship, love affair. The world being your lover, you being the lover of the world. Wow! What moves inside you, dear one? What moves through you? How are you called to show your love for the world? How are you showing up over and over, showing up, offering yourself like a lover does every day? What does the world, the lover, evoke in you? How does it move you in your dance, in your speech, in the way you walk, the way you wake up, the way you go to bed, the way you create food or other dreams for yourself and others? How does this love of your lover world drive you, bless you, informs you? Ah, what a freedom and what a responsibility. Both to feel the world as such, to feel the world as an essential, life-giving partner. Hold your hands, kiss, as it was previously mentioned. Whisper, whisper, words of poetry. Yes, you're loved. Yes, you love. Yeah, devote yourself to this one. Devote yourself, your love. Who knows what creation will be birthed, is being birthed, was birthed already perhaps, and much more is about to come from this lovemaking. What a bliss! What a bliss!
Mm. 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 What a bliss again and again. Stay with this blissfulness. Stay. Don't let it go away. Keep it. Treasure it. From this blissfulness, this exchange, this intimate conversation, what if you opened further your heart here and let words of poetry be put into paper? What if from that place of lovemaking, of exquisiteness, of exchange of love, what if from there you create? In Greek, poetry means creation, and here we are. creating, creating through poetry. That's the first step. So find your own way in getting to your pencil and your journal, and make it sweet and short or long, who knows? Make it wild, make it soft or harsh, who knows? Make it like a flower, like a cliff. How are you, a lover of the world? How do you love Earth, the world? And what seeds are embedded there? What seeds begins to stir in this union? So a short moment of writing and silence from us.
Seeds are meant to be spread. Poetry is meant to touch hearts. We are inviting you to drop a line of your poetry in our common chat here so that we can be taken by the uniqueness of your poetry. Perhaps you have written more than one line, but maybe just choose one line, or long or short, and drop it here so that we are creating maybe perhaps something like a common poetry, a common poetry that is birthed through this love, through this archetype of the lover of the world, through which you are breathing and writing and feeling. So here it goes. Are you ready for a long poem or short poem? From Pedro, singing, sharing love with my friends, being grateful.
From Elena, I am a miracle.
From Lolo, it is magical.
From Katya, with the open heart, I'm here to be flushed with water, to feel all of it.
From Ekaterina, I'm the runaway poet, running from myself to find myself again and again.
From Karina, I long to be yours. I love, my love, as I am alive in you. Let me read it once more. I long to be yours, a love, my love, as I am alive in you.
From peace. And then I just want to rest on your chest and slowly synchronize our own breaths.
There is a beauty here from Lawrence, but I'm afraid I cannot read it. Thank you though, Lawrence.
From Mama Kuna, my pilgrimage ends at your feet, kneeling down, forehead to ground. Teach me how to serve you best.
From Irina, our great gift, the beauty of the world, the letter of love from God to us.
From Katka. The storm is coming closer and closer. Open the window and feel it, hear it, see it, be it.
From Panayota. Great, deep, thunderous transformation.
From Andrea. I love Earth by caring too much, much more than the world considers enough or healthy.
From Radha. I am you and you are me. One hand holding the bloodied parts, one hand the medicine. Beauty.
From Bert. May I celebrate a song of gentleness and strength, like the blackbird in the linden tree at the cemetery.
Break this one. Fighting through loneliness to become part of all that is one and ever changing.
From Eleni. Full yet empty, breath of life, mystery unfolding, sacred union.
From Evdokia. Stay enough and it will Stay enough and it will appear. The spark to take you to the surface with the speed of light and charge you with the energy for the action needed.
From Irina. You are the essence. I have my roots within you, and I can't stop. I am hungry of you. Show me the way of the heart. I don't know any other way now, only the one you weave for me.
From Marina. Hugging the earth with tenderness. We cry, we smile, we breathe in peace.
From Lysandra. So I went back in time, generations in fact, and I found the same ache present in my ancestors. I asked if it will ever heal, and I received, feel more. We are only here for an eye blink. We cannot hold on. Let go, let go, let go, let go, let all go.
From Anna. You feel like screaming out your love to each blade of glass illuminated by the afternoon sun.
And from Samuele. Look at the abundance all around. Can't you see? You also compose it. Goddess, that was beautiful. Wow. Yeah.
If this can happen in 2.5 hours, what can happen in a week and 2.5 hours? I wonder.
Yeah, I have not many words now. You said it all in your poem. You kind of said it all. I'm just repeating that which brought us today together. Seeds for the revolution. Soul-rooted mentoring for an eco-centric culture. It takes a lifetime, but we can do it good enough also in 2.5 hours. What, do you think we didn't plant seeds for the revolution? I hope I hope you do not believe that. I don't know how to say it in a more gentle way. Yeah, thank you for planting seeds, I guess. Thank you for embodying the archetype of the lover of the world. This is the best mentor, one of the best mentors. Perhaps you're wondering, where is the mentoring part? Well, with your poems, you are mentoring the world. With your poems, you are mentoring each other. And more about the seeds and the unfolding ways of mentoring we will address also in the second part of the workshop, which will take place on Friday. And we are welcome you all. It's going to be different, totally different, yeah. And for the ones that haven't been here and maybe you want to invite them, it's going to be useful for them too. They don't have to necessarily know what happened today. It would be a benefit, but not necessary.
Mm.
Hmm.
Mm. Yeah, and I just, in gratitude, want to perhaps reflect back to you the place where we are in the present moment, holding the uh, the memories of the past, of the ancestors, the grief, the longing, the creation of the poetry, and the calling of the future children. My great grandchildren are asking me, what did you do once you knew? Well, I'm just going back to the Greek word BC, poetry, meaning creation. Maybe it all begins by a poem. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for offering yourself, for showing up, for being here, for opening up. Yes.
Blessings to you. Thank you. Thank you, dear ones.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.